What is your fan base feeling about LAFC at the moment? Because for most of our relationship as two podcasts, you guys were terrified of LAFC. We were this specter that haunted you. We were Kendrick Lamar to your Drake.
I don't want to be Drake.
Well, you're close to Canada, so you're more Drake than us.
No.
But obviously, you took us down in the playoffs, as you've done many times before in our home. Is the specter of LAFC still there? How are people feeling about our team? We've won a bunch of games, but we haven't looked great in a lot of the games besides the Columbus game. How is your fan base feeling about our team?
I think that people have been pretty wrapped up in CONCACAF Champions Cup, and I will be honest with you, we've never been able to beat RSL at RSL, and that's like everyone was freaking out. Yeah, 10 years. So they've been more focused on that. I think when it comes to the weekend, people are going to be back to the fuck LAFC train. The rivalry's there, folks.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. I love the Portland-Seattle rivalry, but to me, and I've said it on here and I've said it on my podcast, this is a way bigger rivalry with two opponents that are actually good at soccer. And I want to beat LAFC more than anything. Because we are being talked about as the best in the West. I don't know if I believe it, but beating you in a regular season match, which apparently is impossible, at Lumen Field would mean the world to me. I think people are stoked for it. I think people are rightfully going to show up, and it's going to be a good atmosphere.
A lot of teams are saying that they think Seattle is probably the best team in the West. Where do you see these two teams? Like, is it LAFC's and Seattle's to lose this season?
Yeah, I think so. Apparently it's the Caps to lose right now, which they did that last season too, which was a good bit. I mean, LAFC has looked a little weak, but again, this is the beginning of the season. People are jumping to all of these conclusions. Seattle could play great and then fall off a cliff. I mean, we saw this in 2022. If they make a deep Champions League run, they didn't even make the playoffs in 2022 after winning Champions League. So I think the fact that there's so much schedule congestion for them, and while absolutely they have a lot of depth, rotating rosters is just, it's brutal in MLS, especially when you're playing a first choice 11. I don't know who's going to win the West. I feel like LAFC has a better shot than Seattle just based on schedule congestion, frankly.
Well, I have a feeling we'll see on our post game after the show regardless, unless there's a loss, in which case you might cower in fear.
Oh no, I love calling in when it's a loss. Do we not remember the Open Cup?
Yes, I do remember where you hit by a garbage can.
I did. I hit by a garbage can. I was called Peso Pluma. Shout out to my Peso Pluma boys. They still hit me up on the app formerly known as Twitter, which I'm no longer on. But
and we also saw a famous caller in the background of your shot, shirtless.
The shirtless guy, yeah. Yeah, he followed me to my car and asked me for a ride after, too.
Interesting. Yeah, that doesn't sound like him.
He does that. He's harmless.